You've probably paid a heating bill you didn't question. Most people do. The number shows up. It feels painful but familiar, and life moves on. That's exactly how entire systems stay invisible, because nobody stops to ask whether the problem is the weather or the walls around them. There are homes in North America that have gone through more than a century of brutal winters without insulation replacement, without resealing, without upgrades, and they still outperform modern construction. Not slightly dramatically. Lower heating costs, more stable indoor temperatures, fewer structural failures over time. This isn't theory. It's not experimental architecture or a niche sustainability trend. It's a method that has been tested continuously for over 200 years by builders who didn't have the luxury of getting it wrong. What matters here is not nostalgia, it's performance. Because once you understand why these structures work, you start seeing modern buildings very differently. And more importantly, you start recognizing what actually holds up when conditions get harsh. Let's get into it. The construction system is known as Cordwood Masonry. At its core, it uses short logs, stacked crosswise in mortars, forming a thick wall made of wood, lime-based mortar, and an insulating filler, often sawdust or wood shavings. That sounds almost too basic to take seriously. And that's exactly why most people dismiss it at first. But the simplicity hides something critical. Every component in that wall does more than one job. The logs aren't just structure, they store heat. The mortar doesn't just bind, it manages moisture and movement. The insulation isn't synthetic. It works in harmony with the surrounding materials instead of fighting them. Modern construction tends to separate functions. Structure here, insulation there, vapor barrier somewhere in between. Cordwood combines them into a single system where each layer supports the others. That difference becomes obvious the moment temperatures drop. A standard framed wall with fiberglass insulation is designed to slow heat transfer. That's it. It doesn't store heat, and it doesn't release it later. Once your heating system shuts off, the wall stops contributing entirely. Cordwood walls behave differently. They act as both insulation and thermal mass. During the day, especially when exposed to sunlight or internal heat sources, the logs absorb and hold energy. Hours later, when temperatures drop, that stored heat begins to move back toward the interior. It's not quickly but steadily. This delay is what changes everything. Instead of temperature swinging up and down depending on when your heater cycles on, the wall smooths out those fluctuations. It holds on to warmth and gives it back slowly, often well into the night. In real-world conditions, that means a house stays comfortable longer without active heating, not because it's perfectly sealed, but because it's actively regulating temperature from within. That's something most modern walls simply don't do. If there's one detail that determines whether a cordwood wall lasts 20 years or 120, it's the mortar. Modern builders instinctively reach for Portland cement. It's strong, widely used, and sets quickly. But in this system, it creates long-term failure. Wood expands and contracts with moisture and temperature changes. That movement never stops. Portland cement doesn't accommodate that movement. It resists it. So over time, that mismatch leads to cracks. Once cracks form, moisture enters. And once moisture enters, decay begins from the inside. Lime mortar behaves differently. It remains slightly flexible even after curing, moves with the wood instead of against it. That single characteristic prevents the formation of gaps that would otherwise allow water in. There's another layer to this. Lime is naturally alkaline. That environment slows fungal growth and discourages insects, protecting the wood without the need for chemical treatments. This isn't guesswork. Builders figured it out the hard way by watching which structures survived and which ones didn't. Over generations, the pattern became impossible to ignore. The walls that used lime endured, the ones that didn't failed early. Not all wood behaves the same in this system. Species selection directly affects shrinkage, durability, and thermal performance. Cedar has become a preferred choice for a reason. It resists rot naturally, shrinks less than most woods, and handles long-term exposure to environmental changes without breaking down. Pine is also widely used and performs well when properly seasoned. The key requirement is that the wood is dry before construction. Freshly cut logs continue to shrink as they lose moisture. If that shrinkage happens after the wall is built, gaps form at the mortar joints. Those gaps don't just weaken the structure, they become pathways for heat loss. This is where patience becomes part of the build process. The people who developed these methods understood that rushing materials leads to long-term problems, so they waited. Sometimes a year or more before using the wood, so that decision pays off for decades afterward. Modern construction relies heavily on sealing. Vapor barriers are installed to prevent moisture from entering wall cavities. On paper, that sounds like protection. In reality, it creates a fragile system, because the moment that barrier is compromised, and it always is, eventually, moisture gets trapped inside, condenses, accumulates, and begins to degrade the materials from within. Cordwood walls take the opposite approach. They are designed to breathe. Moisture moves through the wall gradually, driven by differences in humidity between inside and outside. The wood and lime absorb it, release it, and prevent it from concentrating in one place. There's no trapped layer, no hidden cavity where damage builds unnoticed. The entire wall participates in managing moisture continuously. That's why you don't see the same pattern of mold, rot, and insulation failure that shows up in many modern homes after a couple of decades. One of the most striking differences isn't just performance, it's cost. If you have access to timber, the primary material for a cordwood wall is already available. The remaining components, lime, sand, and sawdust, are relatively inexpensive. The total material cost for the wall system can be a fraction of conventional construction. But the bigger difference shows up later. Modern walls degrade quietly. Insulation compresses. Seals fail. Small issues accumulate until repairs become necessary. And those repairs don't happen once. They repeat every few decades. Cordwood walls, when built correctly, don't follow that cycle. They don't rely on materials that break down at predictable intervals. That means fewer interventions, fewer repairs, and far less long-term cost. You're not just saving money at the start, you're avoiding recurring expenses that most homeowners accept as unavoidable. Despite all of this, you don't see cordwood masonry widely used in mainstream construction. Not because it doesn't work, but because it doesn't fit the speed and scale of modern building practices. These walls take time. Materials need preparation. The process is hands-on and methodical. That doesn't align with an industry built around rapid construction and high turnover. There's also the issue of building codes. Systems that aren't formally recognized don't get presented as options, even if they have a long track record of success. But here's the reality. In many places, there are legal pathways to build alternative structures, especially when you're building your own residence. The key is documentation, preparation, and understanding how to present the method in a way that meets performance standards. The people who succeed with this approach don't rely on approval by default. They come prepared with evidence, examples, and a clear plan. That's the difference between an idea that stays theoretical and one that actually gets built. When you strip away the construction details, what you're left with is a system that prioritizes durability, self-sufficiency, and long-term stability. In a survival context, that matters. A structure that holds heat without constant energy input reduces dependency on fuel. A wall that manages moisture without synthetic barriers reduces the risk of hidden failure. Materials that last generations reduce the need for ongoing replacement. These aren't abstract benefits. They directly affect how a home performs under stress, whether that stress comes from extreme weather, supply shortages, or rising costs. And that's the core lesson here. The most effective systems aren't always the newest or the most widely promoted. They're the ones that have been tested repeatedly under real conditions and refined until failure becomes rare. Cordwood masonry is one of those systems. The people who developed these methods didn't have access to modern materials or technology. What they had was observation, experience, and the ability to learn from mistakes over time. It created something most industries struggle to replicate, a continuous feedback loop across generations. Every failure was noted. Every success was repeated. Over time, only the methods that consistently worked remained. That's why these structures still stand. Not because they were built once and forgotten, but because they represent the result of long-term refinement under real-world conditions. And that's exactly the kind of knowledge that becomes valuable when conditions stop being predictable. If this changed how you think about buildings, you're not alone. There's a lot more like this. Real systems, tested over time, that still outperform what most people rely on today. Subscribe to the channel if you want more of these deep dives into forgotten methods that actually work. And share this with someone who still thinks higher bills and constant repairs are just part of normal life.